Hello. It's a motivated you coming to you from YouTube once again. Welcome to my page, everybody. If you have not yet, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I want to come to you all today. I would be remiss, and I almost forgot, but I did not forget. But I would be remiss if I did not make light of this being Mental Health Awareness Month. It is May 31st. However, it is still Mental Health Awareness Month. And with all that's going on in the world, there are people who are stressed out. There are people who are grieving. There are people who are traumatized, and they don't know how to handle these kinds of situations. They don't know how to handle stress. They don't know what mental health should look like. If you are one of those people that you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, I want you to know you're not alone. There are so many other people who feel like that. Two, I want you to know there is help for you. Not just in a spiritual sense, but in a natural sense. There are qualified counselors. If you're Christian, there are Christian counselors who can help you. So please do not be afraid to talk to anybody if you are experiencing any level of stress that has you in a place where you're questioning your mental health. But I just want to come to you. I was talking to a friend this morning, and I shared with her a past experience, and I shared with her many years ago while I was in graduate school. A friend of mine, a close friend of mine, passed away suddenly. And so being 25 years old, you don't know how to handle something like that. You don't know how to grieve that properly. So I started eating, and it really got to a place where I really didn't care of the end result. And that is not the way to think. That is not a right way to think, okay? That is me not being right in my mental health back then, okay? I was, what I would say, depressed. Really, you need a clinical diagnosis from a counselor, from a therapist, to say that you are depressed. But I felt that way. I felt as if I was. And I just shared with her this morning, many years later, I look back at that situation, and I never thought I would be healed from that kind of trauma, that kind of heartache. But here I am today. I'm laughing, I'm loving, I'm participating, I'm showing up in life. And I told her every tough season won't last forever. One day you'll look up and you'll realize that you've been healed. And so I just speak that over you today. Even if you're in a tough season, I want you to be able to look up and know that you're healed. Even the word says that God wants us to have rest. You know, he doesn't want us to be going through things in our mental and in our spirit. He maketh us to lie down in green pastures. He leads us beside the still waters. That's Psalm 23. He says, all who are burdened and heavy laden, I'll give you rest. So he wants you to rest, okay? He doesn't want you to be going back and forth in your mind and in your spirit about things that really have no relevance anyway. What are some of the things that might cause people to have stress or just not be in a situation where they're mentally well? A lot of the things that cause us stress is because we're taking on too much. We're taking on other people's responsibilities. We're taking on other people's burdens and internalizing them. You can rejoice with those who rejoice, and you can mourn with those who mourn, but don't internalize that, okay? Don't make that your own. That's too much of a burden. That's too much weight for someone to carry, okay? What does mental health look like? What does rest look like? Mental health might look like you being around people who are joyful, who have a good spirit about them. It might look like you saying no to some things that you know are going to put you out of your way. Mental health looks like, it doesn't always look like kicking your feet up and going to get a pedicure. Yes, you can do all that stuff. I did all that stuff this morning, okay? But it doesn't always have to look like that. It could just be you being in places that bring you joy, being around people who bring you joy, okay? Being around people who check on you, people aren't checking on each other. They aren't checking on the heart of who somebody is. There was a movie that came out during that season, that time I was grieving. And I won't say the name of the movie because some Christians can be overly sensitive. But the characters, I'm sure that you will be familiar with. And this particular character, she had just been jilted. She had just been left standing at the altar by her fiance. The man didn't even show up to marry her. He showed up late, actually. In passing, he passed her outside in the limo. But anyway, she got jilted, and she had already prepaid for the honeymoon that they were supposed to go on. So she didn't want to lose out on the honeymoon, so she ends up going with her 3 girlfriends. And there was a point when they were on the honeymoon that was meant for she and him, and one of her friends at the table made a joke, and everybody at the table laughed but her. And she says, "Will I ever laugh again?" And then her other friend says, "Yes." And she says, "You'll laugh again when something is really, really funny." And I remember after that season of grieving, the first time I ever laughed. I can't remember what it was about, but I just remember laughing so hard. I laughed from my soul, literally. And that's where healing starts to come in. The laughing, the showing up for life, the participating. So I just want you to know, if you are experiencing trauma, grief, if you're stressed out, there is help for you. There is healing for you, and it won't be like this always. One day you're going to look up and you're going to realize that you are healed. Like I always say, a motivated you is a healthy you, a better you, and a successful you. Until next time, bye-bye.